What we are doing today is continuing to look through the changes of the latest beta version, which had a bunch of tuning, but in particular, of course, what took the spotlight were the changes, the mini reworks, if you can call them that, for Hunter. We looked at Beast Mastery, so now it's time to look at Marksmanship as well. Now, we have already mentioned the changes to the General 3 for Beast Mastery, so of course, for Marksmanship, they are going to be the same. Plenty of skimming down on the talents, reducing those pesky 2 talent points into a single talent, like Natural Mending going from 2 talents to 1. Talents like Born to be Wild going from 2 talent points, instead now they cost just 1. Cringe as hell talents like having to spend 2 points for Arctic Bola just to get to Explosive Shot, now they are also gone. Other things like Serpent Sting are now essentially a baseline effect you can gain through talents rather than an actual button you get to press for both Beast Mastery and Marksmanship. The removal of Sentinel Owl and the extra talent, and a bunch of goodies for your defensiveness and your utility. We mentioned Survival of the Fittest now being overall better, having an extra charge, having better CDR, possible extra utility to Camouflage, giving you damage reduction, more defensiveness thanks to having now a Dispel, Disease and Poison tied to Turtle, but more importantly to Feign Death. So now Feign Death can be a useful ability, not just for dropping aggro and cancelling attacks coming your way, but also to dispel yourself. These were the same changes given to Beast Mastery. However, what about, though, the changes given to Marksmanship just from their talent tree? Now, Marksmanship doesn't get anything nearly as flashy as Beast Mastery, like, the possibility of turning into a dot-based spec, even though you are already a pet-based spec, now you can be both. Marksmanship doesn't really have any of these major changes to the way they play. There are, though, still positive changes overall to Marksmanship. Number one, we have the same feature given to Beast Mastery centered around making your Serpent Sting useful, rather than just being a talent you have to take and an extra follow-up with the extra Hydra's Bite. You already have, right now, Serpent Stalker's Trickery as a Marksmanship Hunter, the ability to put aim shot with a Serpent Sting on enemies. Now, though, with Hydra's Bite, you actually get to constantly spread your Serpent Sting. It's basically now an ignite of a Fire Mage. You put Serpent Sting on the first target with aim shot, and then you keep aim shotting the same target, and Serpent Sting will keep spreading on more and more targets. So that is just an extra help when it comes to AoE. Much like we talked about for Beast Mastery, there have been plenty of skimming down in the cost of talents, like for example Careful Aim now is just 1 point instead of 2 points. You also have things like Streamline, which used to be 2 points, now it's 1 point. Of course, Steady Focus used to be 2 points, now it's just 1 point. Why not? Focused Aim used to be 2 points, now it's just 1 point. Yes, this one is the last one, then I'm done. You add 2 points for Precise Shots, which is now just 1 point for a talent. You also have some good new placement of talents, because for example, right now, as a Marksmanship Hunter, you have to choose between Unerring Vision and Calling the Shots. So, do you want very high CDR of True Shot, or do you want to make True Shot even stronger? Getting you basically 3 more crit chance and critical strike damage when you use it. Now, this is no longer a question. Why? Because they turned Eagle's Talons True Focus into a 1 talent point, and they split Unerring Vision and Calling the Shots. So now you can get all of these 4 for the same talent points you were spending before. So practically you now get Calling the Shots for free. That is a very good addition. You still have the very good possibility of being able to switch from Single Target and AoE very easily, because most of your AoE talents are still clamped up together and easy to remove. Yes, they have been moved in the talent tree. For example, Multi-Shot used to be here, now it's all the way down at the start of the tree, but it's the same thing. You can get rid of your Ricochet Splash AoE damage, your Trick Shot AoE damage, your Multi-Shot AoE damage, and even the Bullet Storm stacking damage on Multi-Shot, and then you can also remove, of course, the splashing of Serpent Sting damage in Single Target, because you won't need this, and finish off with Razor Fragments. So you can switch between your AoE build and your Single Target build pretty easily in this new version, even in this new version. Some talent swapping around is making you now more likely to take talents you previously were not, or vice versa. For example, previously it was very simple to take Salvo. because you were already going to take light ammo for your extra AoE and then you were straight down into salvo. Now though, it's much harder because salvo is now behind 3 extra talent points. 2 points for focused aim and 1 point for small game hunters. So getting here is actually quite costly now. It does still seem likely to be the best possible option for AoE. The only other option likely for these 4 talent points is going to be this line down here for your newly, I guess, reworked Legacy of the Windrunners, because the current version is quite different than what it does now in the new beta version. The live version right now gives you more focus and aim shot charges whenever you gain these wind arrows. Meanwhile now it's turned into each time rapid fire deals damage, there is a higher chance to shoot wind arrows. So you no longer gain any bonuses to your abilities with this one, which is why perhaps this will be dropped now after the change, so you can still get to salvo now. Now, as for the playstyle, to be honest, the actual damage shown by Hunter is being a little bit, let's just say overshadowed by one of your hero talents, because what you're seeing right now is pretty much just the general damage of a hunter who's going to use multi-shot to gain trick shots, and then it's going to consume the trick shot to splash AoE damage either with aim shot or with rapid fire. And what is, somewhat of an outlier right now in this entire rotation is the damage of your hero talent Sentinel. Now, Sentinel looks to be right now quite good in AoE. Again, we're not really trying to go in depth when it comes to hero talent effectiveness in this video. We're just talking about the rework of the talents of Hunter, not just the hero talents, but it does look to be quite the powerful effect now. For example, even just doing little damage, you will see that Sentinel is, you have Sentinel plus Symphonic Arsenal plus Luna Storm. You have Sentinel right here, you have Luna Storm right here, and you have Symphonic Arsenal right here. So practically you have now a hero talent being responsible for a 35% of your entire damage, which is significant. And it's also, at the moment at least, of course, this is, planned to be changed multiple times, I'm sure, but far more damage than what you can get with Dark Ranger and with your Black Arrow shenanigans right now. It is likely that Black Arrow is still better in single target. It does have better ways to buff your aim shot damage, for example, your rapid fire damage, etc, etc. It does seem better suited for single target. More so perhaps because Sentinel just has so many ways to splash AoE damage in multiple effects that is working very well right now in the beta. But besides the possible choice of your hero talents, really not really much of your rotation or major changes to the spec have gone in terms of your playstyle. You're still a aim shot rapid fire base spec, which will alternate them or use them whenever available after using multi-shot, after you gain trick shots in AoE. In single target it will change, slightly as you get rid of most of your AoE stuff and now make much more use of a kill shot, plus of course going Dark Ranger for Black Arrow. So when you go in single target, you do gain the use of Black Arrow, but most of the other stuff, you pretty much stop using multi-shot instead. So you replace your multi-shot with Black Arrow. You also likely now make more use of Arcane Shot instead of multi-shot. But besides that, most of your other rotation is, similar to what you would be seeing in retail. In the live version, in Dragonflight, there doesn't seem to be that many changes to your playstyle, even after the I guess mini rework, if we can call it that is happening right now in the beta. And obviously, because Black Arrow is a little bit more about buffing your abilities, giving you more focus, etc, etc, when you look at at the actual damage you have done, the damage of Black Arrow, it's not going to be a major part of your actual damage like we just saw for Sentinel. It's more going to be about doing more damage with your abilities. But it is still a good rework. It's not perhaps nearly as flashy or nearly as cool with extra things, extra new stuff you're getting like Beast Mastery is, but it has definitely improved overall the talent tree of Marksmanship Hunter, both in the sense of slimming down several talents, making them cost less, which is always good because it means now you have more options to take multiple different talents rather than having to be bogged down in spending 2 points for many talents. You still have some pretty decent options when you want to switch between AoE and Single Target for Marksmanship, and unlike some other specs, you're not even losing nearly as much. There are some specs that are more divided between whether I want to do Single Target or AoE for Marksmanship. It's not nearly as terrible. Losing out on these extra talents for, kill shot damage and Single Target damage, not nearly as bad. Even if you are, for example, in a Mythic Plus setup, in an AoE setup, your Single Target damage can still be decent. So it is still definitely a successful mini rework, both from the way the spec has been improved in its own tree, but also in the general tree, with the things we mentioned, the defensiveness, the survivability, and the utility. Like we mentioned for BM Hunter, now you can pick both Binding Shot and Scatter Shot, and then with this talent you can get free cooldown resets whenever you drop below 40% HP for more scatter shots, or even, a Druid's Typhoon. Now you can use it as a hunter. So overall, still a pretty good rework. Perhaps not quite at the level of Beast Mastery, but still definitely a good one. So perhaps even more reasons to huff that hopium to all of the Shaman players, since that's what's next in line for Blizzard after these major changes to Hunter. The next one planned in the beta to receive changes is going to be Shaman, so we will see, I guess, somewhat soon how big the scope of the changes will be for the class. But for now, this is what we have for Marksmanship Hunter in the beta after the latest changes to the build. So after this, straight live from Boralus, we can now leave each other. Thanks, of course, as usual, to everyone who is watching the video, but also to everyone who is doing a little bit more and completely for free by liking and commenting down below, as well as subscribing to the channel itself. Now, with these things out of the way, thank you guys again for watching. See you guys tomorrow, and in the meantime, oh, god damn it. I did Beast Mastery and then Marksmanship. Does it mean I have to do Survival as well?